Well, as I wake up this morning, I am greeted with my little one throwing up and coughing because he has gotten sick over the weekend. But what's more sickening is seeing the nominations for the Game of the Year from the Game Awards and wondering where a bunch of titles that came out this year, why they're not even on the list or even have a nomination nonetheless for any of the categories. Let's take a look. Well, before we get right into this, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, do all the fun YouTube things, and let me know down below what you think your Game of the Year should have been. Now, looking at this list, we've got Alan Wake 2. Once again, it's a sequel. I've heard it's okay. I've heard decent things about it. I've also heard bad things about it. Then we have Baldur's Gate 3, which to me, everything I saw with Baldur's Gate 3 was a romance novel where people from a soap opera were brought in to act. It didn't feel like a Baldur's Gate to me from everything I saw. Once again, a sequel in name alone, but completely rewritten for today's modern age. Then you have Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which there was two different versions of the game that came out, one for America, one for the Middle East or something like that, where it's completely different writing, completely different style of game, and its own controversies. Then you have Resident Evil 4, once again, another sequel, and this one is a remake of the original game. You gotta wonder what kind of topics are going on this. Then you have Super Mario Wonder, which is just a rehash of the original 2D side-scroller of Super Mario Brothers. Like, you have to go, Super Mario? Really? Is that a Game of the Year title? And then you have The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which is just a rehash and a redone version of Breath of the Wild. My understanding is they used the entire map and just made a new story with the original map that they brought out in Breath of the Wild. So once again, a sequel. There is nothing original on this list. Things that I see are missing: Final Fantasy 16. I don't see Hogwarts Legacy on here. I don't see High Five Rush. All three of those original style games. Yeah, Final Fantasy is its own rendition, but each Final Fantasy is its own unique game, and that's what makes it stand out, and that's why I don't really consider Final Fantasy as a sequel in any of these games. I consider it its own sort of genre. But when you sit there and you look at all these titles, you go, what was old is new again? That's all it is. We're also missing Starfield on this list. You know, I gotta say, Bethesda, they didn't have a home run with Starfield. They had a lot of issues with it. Is it deserving Game of the Year? A lot of people think it is. A lot of people are celebrating that it's not. I don't think the game actually would live up to the thing, and I think it would have been a wasted nomination at that point. However, Starfield is probably more deserving than Resident Evil 4 on this list, and that is saying a lot. And you know, I also have to come back to the Baldur's Gate 3 controversy here, because it's a game that was in early access for 3 years. Now you have a genre of game that can make Game of the Year, where they can be sitting in development hell for 3 years being developed, and then once it's brought up to the forefront and put out to the masses, saying when they feel the release is proper, then it gets the nomination and the nod. Other games that are coming out, Super Mario RPG is about to come out very soon, but it gets the snub because it's not out yet in time for the deadline. So will that one look at next year? Super Mario RPG for the original Super Nintendo was absolutely amazing. I actually have a copy, a working copy of it, and that game in itself, it was so vast and so large, so many things to do. It's an amazing game, and I'm sure they're going to do it right on the Switch. But this really does bring the point home. What does it take to get a game on the Game of the Year list now? Is it really the year of the sequel? Is that what this is? The year of the sequel for video games? What's next? What is next in video games? Because I've heard a lot of people say this has been an amazing year for gaming, but at the same time, I haven't seen anything that's original and new that now obviously is not picked as a nomination for Game of the Year. Anyway, I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix Cindershadow. Hope you like this little short video on the Game of the Year. Let me know down below what you think should be on these lists. Until next time, have yourselves a great day.